Hey there, everybody! Oh, I love it when you do that, Cassidy.
Me?
It just gets me going. It gets me excited.
Good.
Hey, my name is Greta Campagnolo, and I am here with my two amazing, lovely accountability partners, Cassidy and Carol. And we are here today to do another one of our well-formed outcomes from the Superwoman Boot Camp 3.0, which we are all just so pumped up and excited about. It has just been on fire. If you do not know what the Superwoman Boot Camp is, and you are a woman in business, you just gotta check it out because, well, actually, I don't even know if you can check it out anymore. I'm sorry. They can't check it out anymore, can they?
Not after today. I think the
Oh,
cutoff
yeah.
is midnight today.
Oh my God, it's just amazing. If you're watching this right now, you are gonna walk away with some amazing tips and learn so much. So please stick around. We are about to dig deep. Carol is about to dig really deep, and this is something that I know we're all excited about. Cassidy just did it yesterday. Was it yesterday? I don't know. The time's going by so fast, and it was just absolutely incredible. So
Mhm.
stick around, and this will help you in your life, in anything that you want to do, and you'll see why by the end of this video.
Yeah.
So care. Oh, I guess Cassidy, you're gonna take her through this?
I most definitely can take her through this. Let me make sure. Okay, what is it?
Wait.
Okay. Here we go. So, Carol,
All right.
what is it that you want to get or achieve out of and from this Superwoman Boot Camp 3?
What what I want to achieve is I want to come out of this boot camp having more skills and more determination to become the leader and the online marketer that I know I can be.
So you want more skills and more determination. Elaborate on that a little bit. You want more determination. So you want to be more motivated to be determined. I mean, to be the leader that you want to be.
Yeah, and it's like I can picture myself doing this,
Hmm.
but for whatever reason over the past year, I have not risen to the occasion, and I don't know why.
Okay. Well, we're gonna dig into that. Okay. So when at the end of this 4 weeks, when you have gotten all the information about Hangouts and video and YouTube, I mean just everything that we're going to cover in this boot camp and as well as leadership skills, and you are motivated to step into this role as Carol, as this leader and trainer and motivator and inspiration to people in your team, in your community, and your fellow superwomen. When you are in that role, what will that be like for you? What will that mean to you?
That will mean that I have really accomplished, it will put self-belief in me. That's what it will mean. That I will really believe that I can do it because I've proven to myself that I can do it.
Okay, so I'm just gonna let me just think for a minute. So you said that that will mean for you that you have proven to yourself that you can do this. Okay, so let's talk about let's talk about why you feel you can't at this point. or not, I don't want to say the word can't, but why you feel, well, maybe it is the word, why you feel like you, or maybe, how do I even say that? Greta, I want you to help me too, because you're really good at this. So you've achieved all these things, and it will mean that you've accomplished self-belief, that you believe that you can rise up and be the woman, the all-encompassing woman that you have in your head. What is it, what's the self-talk like that makes you feel like that's not achievable for you right now, or that you can't achieve that? Or I don't even know if that's the right word. Greta, what are the right words?
Well, basically, I think that for you, Carol, to be able to really realize and be able to get really deep, maybe let's just take her back to what she said from the very beginning and then go through
Okay.
again. So you're taking notes, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So you're coming into this because or what you feel you want to get out of this is that you want to become the leader that you know you've always known that you can be, and
More skills and more determination to be the leader that she wants to be.
Okay.
So,
So by going through this 4 weeks and having gained that belief within yourself, what would that mean for you?
It would mean that I'm finally able to put behind me the fact that I am not that I'm not doing what I originally started out in my adult life to do and what was expected of me.
Okay.
So,
Do you have this one?
okay, so I'm able to put behind. Okay, and can you identify for me and for the other women who don't know your story what that thing is? What was expected of Carol? What was
Carol,
expected of Carol?
yeah, Carol was supposed to go to college. Carol was supposed to become a music teacher,
Mm-hmm.
get married after college, and it didn't happen in that order, and some of that didn't even happen at all.
Okay, so when those things didn't happen in the order and or at all, obviously there was, can you specifically think about or name those emotions or those feelings that you had by not completing them or in the order that you did?
Well, the getting married part, I have no regrets on. That was all that was we were supposed to get married when we did at 18. So, um, even though we were both kind of bucking the system, and we only had the support of one set of parents. That was a good thing, and that was a happy thing, and that's something that we've never regretted. I've never regretted. Um, Not finishing college, good and bad feelings. Good because I gave up on something that I thought I wanted to do, but then now I'm glad I'm not doing it. Um, Bad because I quit, not only because I needed to go to work, but also because I got a C in a class and I lost part of a scholarship. I lost $200 a semester, and that threw me for a loop that I suddenly wasn't good enough And so there's a lot of mixed feelings with not finishing college and not being what was expected of me to be, because ever since I was 8 years old, I had taken music lessons, and that was just what I was expected to do because I was good at it. Um, so even knowing that there were people disappointed in me, and I'm not the person that they wanted me to be today, is still part of it. And knowing that there's no way that they would ever understand why I do what I do.
Okay. I have a question for you. And I want you to really, 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 truly think about this, like from your soul. What does Carol want for her life? Without anybody else's opinions. Okay? Tune out your parents, tune out society, tune out Carl, tune out your kids, tune out everybody. What do you want to achieve for yourself? What is it that you want to do? What do you get just the most from? What do you want? What does Carol want?
I want to find that balance between being the leader and the influence and the woman that I can be online, and even that 10 minutes that I was on stage with Carl in Dallas, and I spoke about my experiences and really encouraged people, men and women alike. And I really felt like then I had found my sweet spot, but it lasted for 10 minutes. I want to find that balance between that and doing one of the other things that I do best, which is being a mom and a wife. And a lot of times I tend to be an all or nothing person. It's either all one way or it's not anything. And so that's where I'm struggling right now. Is I know it can be everything. I know I really can have it all. You know, number one, my office is at home, so I'm always home with my kids and my husband. But what I want is to figure out and how to be everything with that I want to be, which is being that influence, being that leader, being that encouragement to other men, and not just women, but men and women. And having that balance of being a wife and a mom at home too.
Okay. So when you are able to be the influence, be the leader, be the inspiration to other people, when you can be the motivational speaker, when you can integrate what you do as a mother into that, when you're able to accomplish all of that, what will that mean for you?
It will mean that I've finally gotten to a place where I'm organized, I'm disciplined, I have learned, I've compelled the courage, I guess, I don't know what other word to use, to actually take that step forward, and that I've learned things that really right now even seem foreign to me as far as some of the technical aspects of our business, and that I've really taken the steps to do that.
So, Greta, I'm gonna hand it over to Greta because you're just really good at this. And I think that Greta has the right questions. I know you do because you're a quick thinker like that. Quicker than I am.
That's a good one. Oh my God. It's not an easy thing doing this, and I've done it, a few times. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
You and it I like where you were able to get her to the place, that you needed to be, Carol, to really get it flowing and started. And I just have to say I can so relate to how you feel
Amen.
as a mom. And I know that whoever's watching this, if you're a mom and you're building your business, that hit home for you too, like really deep. So, yeah, when you have this balance between, your leadership skills and this person who you've become, this influential person in your business, and you're able to help men and women all around, and you your children, your family is thriving, your kids are happy, you're able to be there for them because you've learned everything that you've needed to learn in order to create that balance. You're likely outsourcing, and you are, you are just, I mean, you have your office at home already, so you're able to be there. You've created your schedule. You have your Google Calendar. You not only have, your business in there. You have your family time in there, because that's really important for those of you watching as well. We've just created these calendars for ourselves where, we're putting in for the next couple of months, what we're doing each and every day and the times of the day. That's really important. I've never done it before. It was another assignment in another boot camp, and I never did it, and I just took some time to do it today. No matter how long it takes, it's worth it. I'm telling you, and put your family time in there too. So you're all, you have this all set up. There's a flow. It's not, you may not even have to use that calendar anymore. It's just you have this flow going, and this harmonious balance between business and family, and your family is proud of you. Maybe these people, never mind, I'm not going to take you there because you might go there. What does that mean for you, Carol? What does that mean for you when you're in that place and in that zone?
It means that I have achieved something that others will be proud of me for.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm trying. So no, I wanna go on something. I wanna come around to a few things, and I just want to tackle them. And maybe it's not as conventional, but I promise it will get you somewhere, because I think that the point of these well-formed outcomes, and at least for me, was the self-realization of the things that I needed to deal with, the things that were holding me back, the things that were hindering me. And so I'm just gonna speak. So I remember specifically watching a video for a vlog challenge where you sat down with Carl, and he was your loving mirror. And I saw, what I heard from Carl was his biggest thing that he wants for you, Carol, is for you to believe that you are this amazing mother, that you are this amazing marketer, that you are this beautiful superwoman, and that you are loved, and that you do have things to be proud of. That was his number one thing for you. And it's so easy when someone we love, especially someone we're so connected to, tells us those things for us to disregard them. So, it's very important to you, it seems, that you have validation from other people that they're proud of you. But how are you going to be able to get from there to where you are proud of you when it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks of what you've achieved, what you haven't achieved? How are you going to be able to get to that place? And when you do, what does that mean for you? What will that mean for you? How will it affect your relationship, your business? How will it affect your kids? All of that. When you truly, 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 truly believe in yourself, that you are loved, that you can have it all, that all that is available to you. What is that going to be like? And how are you going to get there? Because that's what I'm here for. I want to get you there.
And I want to get there. I think I'll be finally at a place where there will be a lot of pressure relieved because it won't matter what anyone else thinks.
Okay, so my question is, why does it matter now? What about that is really holding you? I mean, what is it that what is that thing that makes you feel like you need you know what I'm saying? Because you said it would be pressure relieved when it doesn't matter. When it doesn't matter anymore. When it doesn't matter what other people think, what other people say. What does it mean for you when you are able to put yourself in that place? I want you to just close your eyes and put yourself in that place. When Carol is happy with Carol, when you are in that place, and I want you to breathe it in. Surround yourself with that love and self-acceptance and all-encompassing hug from yourself, that you deserve that you're there. What does that feel like? What does that mean for your children, for Carl, for your business? What does that mean? Like, truly mean? What do you see? How do you see that? What is your daily life like?
I see that as that creates an atmosphere of peace and freedom, to where I have stepped up into the role that I have needed to step into for a long time, and have created, have helped, have been a partner in creating a lifestyle for us that we've dreamed of for years, and creating an atmosphere where everything is abundant and free-flowing.
Okay. So, something I want to touch on. Feeling like you've contributed to your business. Feeling like you have stepped into this leadership role. You're capable with ease to handle whatever you need to help Carl with in the day-to-day business in order to be successful. When you have achieved that, when you no longer need other people's validation for your power, when you're not giving your power away anymore, you're keeping it for yourself. Your children are content and taken care of. Not that they're not already, just saying that. But when all-encompassing, your children are thriving emotionally, spiritually, physically. They're where you want them to be. What is that? What is, and I almost want to say, I almost don't even want to say what does that mean to you, because I think all of us know what it would mean like for us to be successful. But I really want to touch on what your business and your relationship with Carl and your relationship with your parents and your friends and your family, what all of that is going to be like for you. How you see that.
I see, at least on the business side of it, it's consistent. And I say that because Carl and I have this conversation, we've had this conversation quite a bit. When he leaves to go overseas, right now, the place that we are in life, it's my job to stay here and take care of things, and I love doing that. But I have not stepped up enough in my role as his partner that things don't drop off while he's gone. And so, and I don't do some of the things that would be much easier on him when he's traveling and teaching overseas, that if I were to do it, it would relieve some pressure for him.
Okay,
so they
so
either
it's
don't
very
get done, or
right.
so it would mean consistency and
So,
really
okay.
a true partnership.
Okay. So, just a question, because I'm digging deeper, because that's what I'm doing. Has Carl voiced a need for you to do those things?
Yes.
Okay. And maybe that's where you're at struggling with right now, is because he needs those things from you, and you're wondering how are you going to get to that place, right? You're kind of thinking, okay, well, I want to do that. I want to help Carl. I want to be a partner. I want to be a good mother. I want to do all these things. But how am I going to do that? Is that where you're stuck? Is that where you're
That's where
at?
I'm stuck.
Okay, how are you going to do it? Have you and Carl ever sat down and really spelled out those specific things that you both need to achieve while he's gone? Have you really sat down and written them down?
I don't
And
think
both,
we've actually done that. We talk about it, but
okay,
as far as spelling it out, we haven't actually spelled it out.
okay. So here's a little nugget. And I got this from the Four Agreements because I'm reading this. We can never assume in any situation ever, because assuming makes an ass out of you and an ass out of me.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So, until you both have sat down and talked about the parameters of your business and what your role needs to be when he's gone, you have no definitive plan of action to take care of that. You see what I'm
Exactly.
saying? And that takes both of you. That is one of the biggest struggles about having a business with your partner, is separating business from relationship.
Yeah.
Toby and Layla are bomb at that. I've struggled with it too. It's been extremely difficult for Daniel and I to have a cohesive flow going in our business, between our relationship. I mean, just yesterday you tried to give me this tip on something, on a conversation I was having with somebody to make a sale, and him just even approaching me about it, my hackles were up. Like, I know what I'm doing. I don't need your help. I don't see you doing this, blah, 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 blah. And he's frustrated because he's just trying, I mean, he's had 6 years experience and training towards making a sale. I haven't. But it was my automatic thing to say, screw you, I don't want to hear that. So it's extremely hard to have that cohesive bond between, together, where you're really working like a well-oiled machine. It's difficult, and I empathize with that because I know what that means.
Yeah, and part of where I struggle, the systems are already set up in place,
Right.
and I know that I need to learn how to operate those systems, how to make a capture page, all of that, and I don't know where to start.
Okay, so
And
that's...
part of me wants to be, and if I'm saying too much, but
No, go ahead.
part of me, I really wish that, and this is something I probably should put on my what if, I wish that I had, when we started Empower, I wish that I had started it with him, because I feel like I'm playing catch up. Um,
I can agree
but
with that.
part of me wants to be independent and figure it out on my own, but I don't even know where to start. And because some of these things are already set up, I'm just like, I don't even know where to start. I don't know what to do.
Okay, so write it down because I'm telling you right now.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm a little different, little bit different than Greta. But I think that you and Carl, need to sit down specifically and talk about the things that he wants you to step up in. Make a list, and then you're just going to start from the top. And you and Carl are going to talk about that. You're going to talk about what you need to do. What do you need in your everyday life, whether it's your schedule, whether it's the kids, going to grandma's one night or sleepovers so you can cut down to some training. What are some things that you need to do in your everyday life to really be able to start checking off those things on the list? Because once you and Carl have established that list and you talked about the whole of your business, because if Carl's anything like Daniel, he wants to tell you how it is, like, and I don't know, it's like, okay, they're like 5 steps ahead of where we are.
Yeah.
And they're judging sometimes everything that we're doing and telling us what's wrong with it. And, we're just struggling to really understand and doing the best that we can. And then we throw our crazy woman emotions into it saying, but you didn't give me, where's my pat on the back for doing this? When there's like 25 things wrong as soon as they look at it.
Yeah.
So I think that I really truly feel like if you and Carl could sit down and remove the relationship aspect of it, and you two are business partners and you are going over the ins and outs of your business and what he expects from you and what you expect from you,
Yeah.
and make that a cohesive thing. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
So once you've done that, once you and Carl have sat down and you've spelled out all of those things about your business that you need to take care of, what each other's rules are, and an action plan on how you're going to start checking off the things on your list. When you've done that, and you both understand each other, and you're both on the level where you're moving forward in your business, and you both made the commitment to help each other, because sometimes I need to help Daniel, sometimes he needs to help me. When you can do that, when you're there in that place, what is that going to mean for you? What is that going to feel like for you?
That will mean that we are truly, truly business partners, and I am not just his helper. I'm not just, and I say that, I'm not just his assistant. I am actually his partner, and I am acting like a partner because I am a partner.
So when you have his support in working on your action plan towards those goals, do you feel like that would make you feel accomplished. That would make you feel like you have a balance, and that would make you feel like you're contributing to your business as much and or just as much as Carl? Do you think that all of those things would then allow your business to get to where it needs to be so that you do have that place where your kids are good and your business is good and your emotions and your self-love and all of those things are taken care of? Do you
Yeah.
feel like that could happen?
Hmm.
Yes. I'm happy about that. Because it's true. You want to, I think a lot of women get into this industry with their partners, and it can be the make or break.
Hmm.
It really, really can. And that's one reason why I joined the Superwomen, is because there was a time in my life when I needed that. I needed someone to say, I understand what you're going through. I know how hard that is. So, do you think that when all of that happens, that will take care of that need to please and or prove to other people to get their, I don't, and maybe, is it approval? Is that the word I'm looking for? Do you feel like you need approval sometimes from other people to validate your, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So you need that edification, you need that,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and I mean, I know it's silly. I'm almost 44 years old, but I'll do something around here, and he's already said he appreciated it, or whatever, and I'll have to go back. Did you see that I did that? Did you? And it's not because I think I'm the bomb around here or anything, but I just, for whatever reason, I need to be recognized.
Okay.
Can I
Absolutely.
interject for a moment here, because I just recently read a book that completely changed everything for me and opened up my eyes and my mind to something that I know right now it would help so much and help for those who are watching as well, because I can guarantee that there are people watching this video right now that are sitting there going, that's how I feel. That's exactly how I feel. That happens to me. I'm always, it's never enough, like, to hear these and get this validation from my spouse or whoever it is, whoever you're with, your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, whoever it is. And likely you look for that in any person. The book that I just read is called The Five Love Languages.
I
Have
have
you?
heard good things about
Okay.
that.
Please pick it up and read it. I'm telling you, it is a very quick read, and you will not want to put it down, and you will just be like aha, 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 aha moments constantly. And anybody and everybody should read that book. It will help you so much. Obviously, this is what I'm feeling, is that your love language, Carol, is words of affirmation. There are 5 love languages. And when that, it's like having a whole bunch of tanks, right? 5 different tanks. And if that is your love language and you're not receiving love the way that you receive it, it's always on empty, and no matter what, people can be beating their heads against the wall, like, and he could be showing you the love, the way that he was taught what love is, right? But it's not your language.
Well,
So,
yeah. And that's what's funny because I forget what my own love language is. We went through this years ago when it first
oh,
came out,
oh,
you know? And so he's really good. for whatever reason, I don't latch on to what he says.
Okay.
I do the same thing.
And I have
It's
to hear it again and again. And there shouldn't, I should believe it from the first time he says it because he doesn't say anything he doesn't mean.
right.
Okay, so let me
But I
okay.
probably do need to read it again.
Let me see here, because this is the thing. We have to go back to where we were, right? And this thing came up earlier on, and I think that that's where you need to go, because you'll know when you dug deep enough when you can't talk. Okay?
Yeah.
And like Cassidy, when you had those moments where you started to melt, you
Yeah.
know, the skin started to peel back and you felt emotional, right?
Right.
Like you had talked about, sorry,
I think where you're going is
sorry,
at least I think where you're going, Greta, is maybe is it seems to me that when you did not do or accomplish or achieve the things that people expected from you, being a music teacher, making music and finishing college, that was your expectation from your parents, right?
Hmm.
And your family. That's what they wanted for you. And when you didn't achieve that, their disappointment probably devastated you. And so, Greta, is that where you were going?
yeah, and I want to hear from you, Carol, just like when you're in that place and you have this. What Cassidy just gave you is awesome too, because now you have an action plan, right? And we all need those. Like sometimes I need somebody to tell me how to go to the bathroom again because I just forget. I've got, like I'm just so I don't know. Like Cassidy says to me sometimes, I don't know how you do it, and I seriously don't know how I do it either. I just keep going. um, so when everything is in place and you have this amazing partnership with Carl and your children are thriving and you don't even have to talk about it. You feel like you're right there. You're right at that same place that Carl is, and you're right alongside each other. You guys are speaking on stage. You have your team. It doesn't matter whether Carl is home or not. You've got this. You've got this. And and what, like, at that moment when all of this is there and you've achieved this, what does that mean for you?
I think it means that all of the disappointment that others have had in us, in me, because of some of the choices that we've made and the way that we've gone about doing this, doesn't matter anymore, and we have finally proved them wrong.
So when you have this, all of this, I just love this because I can totally relate.
I
So
think we all can.
Yeah. So when you have this amazing partnership and like everybody is just like, like holy crap, they actually, made
Right.
something of themselves, and they're successful, and you feel successful, and it doesn't matter anymore what they think or whether they approve or not, because you're there, you're living that dream lifestyle that you and Carl have dreamt about for so long. What and the disappointment is just gone. It doesn't matter. What does that mean for you?
It means that there's total freedom. I dream of a day where I can see a single mom in line at the grocery store struggling to get everything that her family needs, and I just am able to hand over my debit card and say, here, it's on me this time. It means that I have that ability to do that whenever, however many times a day I want to do that. Um,
So
it,
go ahead.
it means help. My dreams are more of the day to day. When I see somebody at the gas station who's only putting in $10 or $15, and I can say, just fill it up, I'll take care of it. Meeting those day to day needs of other people who are doing their best and doing everything they can, and maybe they've not taken the conventional route, to be able to help them get where they are going.
So when you're at this place, and I mean, you have obviously have financial freedom and time freedom, and you're able to just walk outside your door and help whomever you come across. And you see these people, you see that they're struggling, and you're able to fulfill these needs that they have and brighten up their day, obviously. Uh, Crying baby. What, what at that moment, what does that mean for you?
It means I finally arrived, and I'm finally at a place where I don't feel like I'm second best. I don't feel like I've never quite hit the mark. Like I'm good, but not the best.
Okay, so I want to know where that came from.
Where that came from.
That feeling that you're second best.
Um,
If you really think back to the moment you started to feel that you weren't good enough, that you were second best, where did that come from? When did that crop up? Because
um,
obviously it's still there.
yeah, and it's something that I've been struggling to get rid of for a long time. Because I can tell you now, because I've had this conversation before, it started when I was a kid. I'm the oldest of three girls. Um, Musically talented, gifted. I'm smart. I had an excellent GPA, but I had to work very hard to get it. Um, it comes from being in musical situations where I wasn't necessarily, well, in in the music classes that I took in school and things like that, I always strove to be first chair. And I played the violin, and that was it, was to be first chair. And when I was young and there wasn't much competition, I made it to first chair. When when I got to high school and the competition got harder, and I never could make it to first.
And that was probably very, very, that made you feel not good enough, like all of your work wasn't good enough.
Yeah, and I wasn't My sister and I have talked about this before, so I think I can say it. I don't know that she'll watch it, but in case she does, it's okay. I was a senior in high school. She was a sophomore in high school. We were in the same chemistry class, and she had an A and I had a B.
And
I worked, yeah, and those things of supposed to be the one that was the oldest one paving the way for the other two. And perfectionism was a thing in our family. Our house was always clean, which I appreciate, um, but it was almost to the ridiculous. When I was, and I know this started young, my mom laughs about this story now, but she says when I was 2 and sleeping in my own bed, I would take the animals off of my bed in the same order and set them on the floor as they were on the bed when it was time to get in the bed to go to sleep. And then I would put them back, so I don't know if you want to say I'm OCD or not, but
I did it too.
yeah, and there are certain things that I do now that just have to be in a certain way. But always that everything just has to be perfect
No.
and in order, and you can never let anybody know that it's not. So lots of perfectionism and not reaching the pinnacle of what I thought I should have.
I can agree. I can relate to that. I didn't finish college. I dropped out my first semester. My parents they couldn't afford it, and I had to do everything myself. And that's a big regret of mine as well, is not finishing college, but at the same time, I think that I'm trying. Maybe Greta, you can help with this. I'm trying to formulate a. I mean, what do you feel, Carol, that what validation and who do you need it from to relieve those things, get those out of your head, out of your reality, perfection, out of your reality? Does that make sense? I don't know.
It does. It does make sense. It does make sense. I'm gonna go back to, because Carol, you need to figure out for you what, because when you're at when you're at this place.
No, just took a bite of chips.
Okay. Go. It's okay. Close the door. When you're at this place, just a second. I'm here. I'm totally present with you, and it's all good. When you are at this place and you're not, because when you reach that level of success that you're looking for, that you're going to have, that is there awaiting you. Can you see me, or am I like?
Mm-hmm. No, I can see you.
That you make that you're right in that place, in that sweet spot, and it's consistently there. That feeling you had when you were up on stage with Carl, and it was just sweet, and you're there, and you're able to help all these people from all walks of life. You see these people that maybe were where you once were, and you're able to help, lend a hand and help them out, and you've been able to let go of these disapproval and this second best feeling, this feeling of always being second best. You've done it. You've reached this level of success that your family is proud of. What does that mean for you?
It means that I am finally at a point where I've become everything that I want to be, and deep down I know I can be, and that I've been able to forget all of the other stuff
Okay.
and get and replace the old feelings with new feelings and new realities.
Okay.
And that I've just had the courage to let it go. Kind of like hanging on to the familiar.
Greta, I don't know what she's doing. No, I think, okay, so you'll be able to replace that and let that go. And you're not letting it go at the moment. See, I guess what I want, at least, and I think that this is going to help other people as well. And it's something that I had to deal with. Remember when Layla talked about her power moment on the first boot camp, about that moment when I really had to find the courage to send her a message and really disassociate my negative feelings with her validation.
Mm-hmm.
Because what would happen is if I didn't receive it, I didn't feel worthy. And then I ended up putting her above me instead of right next to me. And so, and when I did that, I felt so relieved and empowered, because I knew that that was something that was within me. So when you feel like you can let it go, when you truly feel like you can let it go, what do you think that's going to take for you to truly let it go?
I'm gonna have to get ready to get out of the uncomfortable, because it's
Okay.
for whatever crazy reason it's comfortable right now.
I can relate to that as well. It's, it kind of relates to my feeling of being unloved. No matter how many people tell you that you are, no matter how many words there are, if you're not having that conversation with yourself, they're just words. They're not going to make any difference. So in order for you to achieve that, you need to get out of your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
And when you are successful, when you have financially hit your goals, and you can say, see, look what I did. Look what Carol and Carl did. And it doesn't matter what you say. We did this, right? That's validation for you, right?
Yeah.
So, and this is something that a lot of us get stuck in, me as well. And we talk about gratitude, and we talk about appreciating the things that we have in our lives as it is. But when you're faced with these emotions, and you're faced with the struggles financially, emotionally, in your relationships, and all those things, when you're faced with them, it's extremely difficult to find the good in that, right? And truly accept it. And maybe that's the dragon we're all chasing when we dive into self-development, is that internal peace with ourselves, that it doesn't matter what we've achieved, doesn't matter what other people think. It matters what Carol thinks of herself. And if you cannot be satisfied, you personally, not Carl, not your parents, not anybody else, if you cannot, I feel like you need to come to a place, Carol, where you are operating at the level that makes you feel validated, makes you feel good. And I think your action plan with Carl is going to really, when you are really able to sit down and have that conversation about, I mean, and maybe when's the last time you went over your goals, what you want to achieve, and those things. Rehash your goals, and come to that level, because it sounds to me like, those things hinge on your success. And if you don't have success, or you don't have it in the time frame or in the manner that you feel, do you feel like those things would be taken care of if you did not? If you were to give up? If you were
If I were
to...
to give up, it everyone and everything would suffer.
Okay.
But and that's what I guess irritation is a better word, about this whole year that I've had. Without realizing I was giving up, I gave up, and we've all suffered because we lost momentum with me. I quit my job a year ago May, because it was an all-consuming job, and I was thankful for it, but I made a commitment to Carl that I would be with him full-time, partnering in the business. And I started out really well with the video challenge, and I grew that way, and then I just reached a shutdown point where I got lost. And I think it's, for some of the reasons why that we've already talked about. And I rode on, I was in Dallas because of Carl. I wasn't in Dallas because of Carol. It wasn't anything that Carol had done that got us there.
Mm-hmm.
So I've ridden his coattails long enough.
Okay.
But I don't understand why I'm still so stuck, and why I just feel unorganized, like I don't even know where to start.
So overwhelm is pretty
That's a good
intense
word.
right now, because I mean, and that's not just you, Carol. That's everybody. That's me too. Yesterday when Daniel sat down to me and said, "You need to do this, 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 and this, and I need you to do this," I automatically was like, I don't want to do that. How am I going to do that? I just want to keep on going the way that I'm going, But at the same time, I understand where he's coming from. And I think that it's important for you to really, I really, 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 really feel like that conversation with Carl about your business, and that I really feel like that's going to take care of a lot of things for the both of you, because, it may be the fact that Carl got you guys to Dallas. Carl got you on that stage. It wasn't Carol. Okay. First of all, awesome credit to Carl. People dream of being on that stage. I dream of being on that stage. But at the same time, what was your role to support Carl in this business in the first place? Do you think that he would have gotten there without your support? Do you think he would have gotten there without you in his life?
No, and we've had a lot of conversations where, I've been the one to encourage him to keep going and to not give up when he felt like giving up. And so, I know that I've been that support and that assistant, if you want to call it that.
I think you have to get out of that word assistant.
Yeah, and yeah,
I think that when you start seeing yourself as partner, business partner, and add that in your self-talk, add it in your morning mantra. Maybe that's what you need to do is have a morning mantra, something that you sit down and say to yourself when you meditate or before you meditate, and reaffirm those things like you are good enough. You are a good mother. You are a partner. And today, I will make the commitment to watch one training, implement one new thing, go through my checklist that Carl and I have made together, and really take those small daily actions that are going to allow you to move past overwhelm, past all of the things you have to get through. So if that means at nighttime before you go to bed, you have that one specific thing, okay? So if it's, let's see, if your list is like, really big things like email, like, AWeber, I mean, a lot of those things that are complicated for people that they struggle with, if it's a big thing like that, then break that down, okay? So, and that you should do that when you sit down with Carl too. Okay, so if it is email and he says, I need you to do my emails, I need you to do my Hangouts, and I need you to do this, but you have a difficulty with Hangouts and you don't know how to run AWeber, you don't know how to do a broadcast, you don't know how to email your list. If those are all the parameters, then break those down into small tasks that you can do every single day and check it off. That's going to give you validation that you've accomplished something, that you're moving towards your goals, that you and Carl have this list, and go back to it, And I think, like, for me, I need so much, what's the word? Not validation. I need to constantly be reaffirmed that, we're working on this, that this is getting accomplished, that we're going to hit this goal by that goal. And that follows into my own belief and how Daniel and I run our business. And he gets tired of having to reaffirm me. Reassurance. I need reassurance. Like, I need you to tell me. I need you to tell me. And I'm not happy unless he tells me the status quo is good. And if it's not good, then shit hits the fan. And I get in freak out mode. And so I think that once you do start to check off your list and go back, and if that means that Carl has to reaffirm or reassure to you within reason, because it's so easy to use that as a crutch, because I do it all the time. I just need you to tell me it's all good instead of actually looking at it and dealing with it. And that drives Daniel nuts. He's tired of giving me reassurance. He's just like, I just want you to believe that this is all going to be okay and our sacrifices are worth it. And you know what I'm saying? So I think that once you can start checking off that list, I really think that it's going to help you a lot with a lot of those issues. Plugging into the accountability group, doing your videos raw and real. Don't be afraid to cry. Don't be afraid to look yucky. Don't, if you have this automatic inspiration of of something that you want to say to people, anything. If you're driving down the road and you just have this inspiration of something that you want to say to your team, or you guys have a congregation, don't you? Is that right?
Actually, not right now. We don't.
Right now. Okay. Well, either way, if you're still connected with anybody that you want to inspire, cut on that camera and talk about it. Because I really think that, at least for me, is a self-therapy to talk about it. And I haven't been doing videos consistently either. So I think the overwhelm can be taken care of with your checklist. And I think that that's going to fix a lot of those things. And as far as your validation from your parents, I mean, do you feel like you need to have a conversation for them, or you need to have some type of a practice or a ritual or something where, like our burning our pinwheel, where you can release that, something that's going to,
Yeah, actually, I think I need to put that on my what if, because our family dynamics, if I try to have that conversation, it will get turned the other way to woe is me, poor me, I was horrible, I was on the other side of the conversation. So it won't accomplish anything.
Okay, because and that was another thing that I've kind of been dealing with as well. We talked about that conversation that I would have with my mom, but I think for me it needs to be a ritual like that, where I am truly able to let go of that pain, because I need to move forward. And I mean, Carol, you're such a wonderful, wonderful person. You're such a great marketer. You really, really are, despite how you feel and despite the self-talk that you've given yourself about it. You have learned things over the last year. And I want to figure out a way for you to move forward and to believe that you are capable of being a leader. And, I'm trying to think what it would take. I mean, your what if wheel, but maybe what if you also just wrote a letter and got all that stuff out? Because sometimes, and you've heard this from Layla, just being self-aware that those are there and getting it all out. I mean, I knew this stuff with my mom was there, but I thought I had dealt with it. And obviously not, because it's held me back in so many different aspects of my life. So an exercise where you can release that, get all of that out, process, deal with the pain, and put together your I am statements. Because I saw that video too. So do you feel like you've connected with some of the things that are holding you back?
Yeah, I do. I hadn't realized that some of that early childhood stuff was still, I mean, we've talked about it before. I didn't realize it was still there.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it had been a problem in the past.
Yeah.
And, with some of the struggles that we've been through in ministry and in life, and some of the ways that people have looked at us because of stands or decisions that we've made through those. There's been a lot of hurt and there's been a lot of pain.
Mm-hmm.
And part of me, I've had to, and I'm still working on not building, and maybe this is part of it right now, not building a cocoon around myself to not hurt anymore.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask you what those things are, and if it's like seriously, I think that if it's still hindering you, you definitely need to talk about it and deal with it for sure.
Yeah.
So, what are some of those things?
People using me to get to my husband.
Okay.
Not really seeing me for me, but what I could do for them.
Okay. So when people have come to you to get to Carl, in what form is it? Is it just to be your friend, or do you feel like they were using ulterior motives to accomplish that?
A lot of times, yeah, in our past, and that's been a big one. Being a pastor's wife in the past, I signed up for it. I loved it. I embraced it. I
Mm-hmm.
miss it. It's not where we are right now,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm good with that.
Mm-hmm.
But and if I had the opportunity to do that again, I definitely would.
Mm-hmm.
But I learned how to shelter myself. And maybe that's what part of this is sheltering myself again.
Shelter yourself in what way? By not dealing with things, or not allowing, uh, not acknowledging things, or
Not putting myself out there to be set up for hurt again.
okay. So you're allowing the fear, so not allowing the fear does not allow you to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Okay, and putting yourself out there in what way? In video, in your marketing?
In video, in marketing, in emailing, in relationships in general. I have,
Okay.
and this is something that we have talked about a lot lately. At this point in my life, I have friends, but I don't have close friends. I just decided that I was done with that because I was done with all the drama. To be perfectly honest with you, I would much rather stay home with Carl and hang out with Carl. He is my best friend than I
I
would.
understand that.
And there are lots of people around me that want to have a closer relationship with me,
Okay.
and I am still just keeping everything, and maybe I'm even doing it with this, keeping everything at arm's length.
Okay. So how,
I heard that.
okay, Greta.
I know you're going to take this somewhere, and I'm going to let you do it.
Okay.
I just wanted to say that that was one of the things that you had said in your reply to our video about wanting to be our accountability partners, that you were ready, Carol, and you really wanted this, right? You wanted
Yeah.
to be able to get to that, to just let it out, let yourself go, and just be you and show yourself to the world,
Agreed.
right? I'm gonna go back and keep listening and make my dinner
Okay.
for my kids before they eat dinner.
Okay. So, people, so you've closed yourself off,
Yeah.
and when it comes to relationships in and outside of the business. And you want to know what is really, really funny, Carol? The first time I saw you in Carl in Denver, do you remember that? When
Yeah,
I said, Carol!
yeah.
And you like froze. You were like, hey. And I was like, what? You know what I mean? Like, I was like, what's up with Carol? And then, but now it makes sense to me. It makes total and utter sense to me. Because you have a really hard time putting yourself out there. So when I came to you and I was like, Carol, you were kind of like, someone recognized you. Someone was here that you saw online that you had replied to, and they're like, hey, that type of to be able to be comfortable with that. I mean, did that make you uncomfortable? Was that uncomfortable?
It did, and I remember that, and I remember that whole event. Um, I was actually wishing this weekend that it was this time last year, to be honest, because that event was so awesome too. But yeah, I do because that was my first event. We went to Chicago, but I was still working at that point
Mm-hmm.
at my other job. But we knew I was quitting. I'd already given my notice, and so, but I still had this other role where I knew exactly what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
The job I had, I knew it backwards. I created the job,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew it backwards and forwards. I grew with the job. And so when we got to Denver, I was I was almost like totally lost. I
Mm-hmm.
did get lost walking to the Superwoman lunch. My GPS took me in the wrong or something. I don't know what I did, but I still felt lost
Uh-huh.
and like I didn't have anything to say. And I was actually shocked that people would recognize me from online.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of what you were seeing too. I was
It
timid,
was.
and I'm like,
I was like,
really?
okay.
People recognize me? I didn't think, and that's part of where I struggle the most. I don't think that what I have to say sometimes is important enough for someone to remember. And part of it is a comparison problem. I am horrible about comparing myself to others.
Guilty.
Yeah.
Guilty. Guilty as charged. I have totally been there. And that was another thing that I really kind of had to release in that little message was just the knowing that I I don't know, I almost got this thing like, and this is exactly what I said at this one moment. And I remember exactly, I was sitting in the beast mode pad in Orlando, surrounded by all these millionaires. Not even millionaires, but all like
Yeah.
Chuck Marshall, Lawrence Tam, Chris Jones, Chris Rushlow. I mean, all these people. Look at the things that they've done. And I'm sitting there, and for some reason, I'm not enjoying that situation because I'm worried about Layla and what she's thinking about me at all moments of the time. For some reason. For some stupid, stupid reason. And all of a sudden, I just said to myself, you know what, Cassidy? Pardon my French. Fuck Layla. You don't need her to be happy. She's not the be-all, end-all. This is your business. You have the control over how it runs, whether it's successful, whether it's not. You don't have to be part of any fancy schmancy team to define who you are. In fact, I don't even like the word team sometimes because I'm an internet entrepreneur. I am a business owner. And that is who I am. I'm an internet marketer. I don't need to be affiliated with a team or anything like that to prove my worthiness of success. That's the moment that I had as I sat there, because I was just in this really horrible, horrible place, and I really had to do that for myself. And when I did, oh my goodness, I could breathe. I had this sense of like power that was just insane. And I've slipped for sure. I've had moments where I don't even want to get up and face the day. I don't want to deal with things, you know. But on the other hand, I know that what I do in the Superwoman, it means something. And people have heard your words. They've seen your videos. They've seen you on Hangouts. They know who you are. Isn't that crazy? They know who you are. But it made you uncomfortable in that moment. And putting a shell around how you feel is something that you want to step through. And so when you've been able to do that, how will that affect your business and your relationship?
I won't be afraid that, well, it will affect it because I will know that people really like me for me. They listen to me for me because of what I have to say. And it won't be just because I'm Carl's wife.
Okay.
It will be because Carol has taken the time and the energy to learn what she needs to learn, and she hasn't depended on Carl for everything.
So do you struggle with your value? What you offer, what you have to offer to other people in this industry?
I do, because I feel like I have emotional value to offer, which is where that's what I started out with a bang last year.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I have emotional value, but as far as technical knowledge, I feel like I have almost absolutely none. I can show you how to schedule a Facebook post.
Okay, so you're going to add another thing to your list. When you start marking off those little accomplishments and the little things that you learn, within that week, let's say it's a week that you're going to do it, okay? You're going to learn things. You're going to implement something new at least weekly. At least weekly. Then what you're going to do is you are going to go onto YouTube. You're going to do a Google Hangout Live like this, and you are going to teach somebody one thing. One simple, teeny tiny thing that you struggled with. You're going to teach it to them. Okay? And you're going to use your call to actions. You're going to look into the camera. You're going to provide that value that you just learned. And broadcast that to your list. Break down your 15K, your masters people, your inner circle people, your blogging people, and find something of value to cut weekly that you could send to them. Maybe what you can do as well is send out a poll, okay? And run this by Carl, send out a poll asking people what they need to learn to benefit their business, what they feel that they're struggling at. And then what you can do is you can do your training on that. You can create a every other week hangout with your team where you go over something like that. You can create a Facebook group for those team members to plug them into that you can fill with information that you've learned. So that way you're giving value, you're learning, and you're implementing. But you're doing it on a level that you are able to handle so that you don't have overwhelm. You're handling the one thing at a time. Send out an email, hey, who's struggling with Aweber? Are you struggling with Aweber? I have been too, but I want to show you I want to show you the ins and outs that I've learned of Aweber. Because we know that our list is our business.
Yeah.
And they see everything. And your voice comes through in those emails. You know, and make it known. This is Carol. Start saying it in your head. 1/2 of Carl. You know, this is Carol. The other half of Carl. And this is what I'm going to show you to do today. So I really feel that if you start doing those teeny tiny little things, those little itty bitty steps, it's going to take care of a lot of those things, like not feeling like you have value, your presence not being in your business, people not seeing you for who you are. You know, I mean, when people start to say, especially when you start to take reins of those things, I'm not saying that you should throw all these things in there on top of what you already have to do. But when you and Carl have made your list and you've spelled out all the things that he would like you to learn, that you would like to learn, and what your role is in your business from both sides, when you are able to, in addition, do those little things to utilize social media, even if you have to give out one little tip on Facebook, marketing tip of the day, you know, it creates engagement, it creates edge rank, it creates so many different things. And you're giving value. When people see that, they're like, damn, I need to follow Carol. I'm going to message Carol because I know she just got 5 leads today on Instagram. I need to talk to Carol because she has the information that I need. So that's where your value comes in. That's how I see it. What do you think about that?
That is exactly what I've needed.
Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so like I said, on the smallest level, whatever little thing that clicks with you, that you start to have a little result. I mean, it can be so small. It doesn't have to be generate 50 leads. It doesn't have to be generate anything like that. We all have to remember, I think all of us do, is that we have people in our businesses who are unsuccessful and want to be successful, but before that, they have no idea what they're doing, and they're just as overwhelmed as you are with all the information, with all the trainings. I don't know how many times I've seen Daniel go through a thread. You know those massive like threads that people, like, you know, someone will ask a question in a group for something and it'll be like, I don't even know, but he'll go through 1,000, 2,000 different comments, and boom, he finds the information that he needs. And he never would have found that if he hadn't have done that. And when you can bridge that gap for people and give them that information without having to look through a thread, and you connect with your team members about the things that they need and provide that for them, their level of success, your level of gratitude and value and validation of your place in your business is going to increase. That's what I think from a business standpoint. And Greta, I don't know what you're doing, cooking food, and that's okay. But I really do feel like it's going to take ownership of a lot of the feelings that you've stated that you want to improve on, your overall outcome of what you want to achieve in the Superwoman, why you're here. I mean, we all want to be speakers. We all want to be on that stage, and you've been on that stage. You know, I mean, I can't even imagine what that experience was like. That's just so awesome. And you're going to be there again. I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
Eventually.
You'll get there. You are going to get there.
Well, that's the thing is that I've had to disconnect with is that outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Because the one thing that I learned from Layla from my power moment was that getting stuck on that thing. You know, I recently had this struggle where I almost rethought of even being in the Superwoman. If I was even going to do this boot camp, was I going to step up and do the things that I needed to be a part of this? When Layla approached me, I didn't have certain things in place that I needed to have in place to get registered and do certain things. And it was one simple moment when she said to me, I want you to do this. She said, so what do we have to do to make it happen? She didn't say you, she said we. And in that moment, I knew this is your chance, Cassidy. There are a million other women who would kill to have a spot to speak on a boot camp where hundreds of women are seeing you speak. So you can either say I can't or do everything that you can to make it happen. And boom, as soon as I made that moment, that decision, that moment, it was like I just went in. I had to get things done. And I did. And it's just to be in that position is awesome. So I had to take that moment. I didn't want to. I wanted to sit in my hole and be like, I don't need it. I don't need that. You know. But I do. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here talking to you or Greta or any of it. So you got it, Carol. I swear you got it. You do.
Yeah.
I mean, you do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm trying to think if there's anything else in this well-formed outcome that you need that's going to help you. What do you feel like you need to happen? Do you feel like these things we've talked about and this game plan is going to allow you to achieve some of the things?
Yeah, it's going to help me break it down.
Okay.
And one thing that I needed tonight that I got was I am typically a very emotional person. I cry at the drop of a hat. And I knew I would if I needed to tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to say, I'm glad that I did this without that part. Does that make sense?
That makes sense because I honestly I'm like, okay, maybe I haven't gone far enough. She's not crying yet. Maybe I haven't gone far enough. But I think that that you're going to be able to alleviate a lot of the things by breaking it down like we said. And I do suggest writing that letter and getting all those out. Remember, there was this audio that Layla had where she talked about mentally going back to that place where you felt that feeling and addressing you in that moment in time, whether you were a little girl or whatever, and just acknowledging
Yeah, I remember that one.
happened. Maybe you need to do that and then write your letter and get it all out. And then release it, burn it, all those things.
Yeah, I would do that.
I'm so glad you brought that up. I was thinking that like way back earlier, and it popped into my head, and I didn't say it. So that's so awesome that you brought that up.
About going back?
Yes, 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 yes.
So no, I do. I really think that those things in place are really going to help you achieve all of those things. And Greta and I are here for everything. Do not be afraid to say, I am struggling right now. Don't be afraid to say, you know, with a snotty nose and watery eyes, I need to have a hangout because I'm losing my freaking mind. Because I do that all of the time. All of the time. So to be able to have that connection, to be transparent like that, you can do that with Greta and I. And when you are able to do that, it's going to show in your videos, it's going to show in your confidence, it's going to show in the way that you interact with your team and your peeps. So, Greta, is there anything else that you can think of? And what are you eating?
Cheers. I made tuna melt.
Oh, nice. That looks good.
They're not tuna melt, they're salmon melt.
Oh, well, you can keep the salmon.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
It's so delicious.
I don't do fish, except I lie. I do. We have this brewery down on the waterfront here that has like the best fish and chips, and I don't know what it is, but I love them slathered with tartar sauce. Other than that, if you ever, like if someone held a gun to my head and said eat fish, I would take one to the head. I really would.
Yeah, I would too. I eat tilapia, and that's about it.
So, what do you eat that has
Omega?
Omega 3?
I take Carlson's fish oil because my naturopath, that was the number one thing with my vasculitis, was to reduce the inflammation in my legs, and other places was either the Nordic Naturals or the Carlson's. It's expensive, but it has the highest level of DHA or DHE or something like that.
Yep.
So 4,000 milligrams a day
Good.
of that or more is what is happening. Not as consistently as it should be, because it's cheaper to...
That's why you had problems the other day, maybe?
Yes, and I really think that it was the heat. Because I noticed it the other day when it got really humid, and I didn't sleep. It happened to me yesterday because I didn't sleep. My body was literally telling me, Cassidy, you need to rest. And as soon as I did, my ankles were completely fine. So, but anyways, we're getting totally off the subject. Greta, what do you think? Is there anything else?
Forrest is throwing up. Oh my god.
Is it tuna?
No, it's banana.
Oh, all right, that's better.
I love that just happened on camera.
Yeah, we are live.
Yeah.
This is about as real as it gets.
Okay.
Well, good thing I'm wearing yellow pants. I just think that this was just awesome. I'm just so glad that I pretty much don't have anything to say other than like I'm just happy to be here, and I I just feel blessed and grateful to be doing this with you ladies, and it just, you know, he likes this. No, yeah, it just, yeah, that's all I have to say is this. I love you guys, and I love that we're here, and I love that you were able to get through this whole process, Carol. It was amazing, and Cassidy, you did an amazing job.
Oh, good.
Yes, thank you. You guys were both amazing.
Well, I just, like I said, I just really hope that, you know, you got everything that you need to get out of it. And not only that, that you do know that we are absolutely here 100% if you're struggling, if you're not feeling confident. I mean, whatever you need. Yesterday, Greta sent me a message. She's like, tell me I can, just all I need you to do is tell me I'm going to stay up tonight and get this done. And I was like, okay, game plan. You're going to do this, this, and this, and then we're going to do that, that, and that. So,
and you know what happened?
None of that happened?
You know, my 3-year-old decided he wasn't going to go to sleep until 10:30, and you know, we have like a 7 o'clock bedtime, but summer it's like way out the window, and I didn't get it done. And you know what? That's the thing. Sometimes it's gonna happen, and just because that happened, I didn't let it just get me down, because Forrest wouldn't let me leave the bed last night. He was just like, no way, mommy, you're staying here. So I didn't get what I needed, what I had set out to get done, and I just told myself everything is as it should be.
Right.
And I just trusted in the process, and it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's
Amen.
life.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I'm a failure.
No.
You know, and if that happens to you or anybody else who's watching this, you're not either. It's okay. And you know, just keep moving forward, big or small.
Amen. Okay, so Carol, do you feel like you've accomplished everything from your well-formed outcome that you need to accomplish?
Yes.
Okay, is there anything else, anything that you can possibly think of that you need from Greta or I in this well-formed outcome?
I think you guys have given me all of the tools that I need to go to the next step.
Woohoo!
So
Woohoo!
this is awesome. I took lots of notes.
Okay, and like I said, anytime, it's amazing the things I can tell you to do that I'm not doing myself.
Aren't we all that way?
I know, right? But still, I really do think that's going to happen, and I think that, you know, maybe Daniel and I will sit down and have some conversations for ourselves and work out some things. So I'm glad I came up with that too. And
I'm
Greta,
glad you are.
Greta, it's your turn, lovely lady with a vomity baby. It's all good. No?
It's my turn again?
It's your turn. It's your turn for your well-formed outcome.
Oh, God. Not right now.
No, not right now. Okay.
Oh, no.
All right.
My kids are, no.
They're being crazy? Okay.
I need to put my kids to bed.
Okay. Do you want to do it later or?
Sure.
Okay, because I can do later.
I can do later.
Okay. How about I message you when I got everything under control?
Okay.
Sounds perfect.
Sounds good to me. I'm going to cut my video about, well, okay, so let's turn the live off.
Okay.
Mute me out.